Welcome to Summer Advantage USA Day 1 Kickoff Celebration. Summer Advantage 2025, harnessing the power of summer learning to help all children excel. Educators, this section of the training is for you. Educators, it's important for you to read slides 1 through 6 in order to prepare for the Summer Advantage Day 1 activities. Slides 7 through 70 plus are used to guide scholars' interactions. Educators may revise and or adjust content to better accommodate scholar needs and or developmental age groups. Please contact the EVE Professional Learning Department if there are any concerns, issues, and or questions, or you can email training@phelanAcademies.org. So, our first educator slide, we want you to read this because it helps you to, before you begin day 1 of Summer Advantage, it's important for you to know what to expect and how to prepare. So, the Summer Advantage Day 1 kickoff goal is to ignite curiosity and excitement for learning and meeting new friends. To introduce the theme around the world and supply pieces of culture from each country by the end of day 1. Also, to create a positive learning environment and routines. We want to set the tone. To foster fun team building and class building, i.e., getting to know everyone. At the end of day 1, we want everyone to feel like they have someone they're comfortable with, they have friends, they have connections, and they want to come back again tomorrow. And then also to help scholars learn. We want, we obviously the goal of Summer Advantage is to make sure that we are navigating that summer slide to make sure our scholars keep the skills that they worked so hard during the school year to gain. So, help scholars learn through self-reflection, discussion, and question generators. We want our scholars to be curious. Curiosity is healthy. And so if they're asking questions, that means they're thinking. They're the learning is sticking. They're able to connect it to the real world. So yes, before you begin, we want to make sure that you know this is the theme of day 1. It's a hardy goal, but we can accomplish it. And again, we want you to have fun. So educators, you know your scholars, you know the environment. This is the baseline. You can go higher and higher and to incorporate some even more fun things, but we want the day to flow with this as the foundation. Summer Advantage Day 1 lesson outline. So the Day 1 lesson outline plan is designed to create an interactive, highly engaged experience. Scholars will be able to self-reflect about their life in the U.S. and to discuss and explore cultural elements of Haiti, Guatemala, Morocco, Venezuela, Brazil, and beyond. As far as your checklist is concerned, breakfast and community time is at the top of the morning of day 1. It's a 30-minute block. That's when we have our morning meeting. In morning meeting day 1, we've infused a conversation about respect. It's an opportunity for you to talk to scholars about what a respectful learning environment is, what it means to value their fellow classmates and to give them respect and to really honor each other in their interaction. So great time to have that conversation. We always include breathing exercises. We include a morning movement. It really sets them up for success to get their brains learning. They eat, they move, they talk, they discuss. That's our morning meeting platform. So day 1 is going to model the model for the rest of the summer. Then we have the literacy block. It's 2 hours, but guess what? On day 1, instead of jumping right into day 1 of the literacy block, we get the opportunity to build and have some icebreaker time, to do a samba challenge out of Brazil, a read aloud, 2 read alouds actually during the literacy block, and to have some deep conversations to prime them for the learning that they can expect throughout Summer Advantage. Then we have the math block. It's 1 hour. There's going to be some math riddles. It gives them time to really think through. It talks about grappling with their learning. See if they can even figure out how to solve these math riddles. And then they play a game from Venezuela, a game from Guatemala, and then they explore some artwork from Morocco. Then later on in the day, when it's enrichment time, they extend their around the world tour. And this week's the first week of Summer Advantage, the spotlight is on the country, the beautiful country, Haiti. And so they'll have 10 minutes of their enrichment time, which they will explore the beautiful country of Haiti. When you also look at the lesson out plans, educators, scholars will continue to see the flags, and these are the day 1. This is the board that we expect to get through. Now, even if you do your math block first or your literacy block or however, or you have lunch or recess at a different time in this flow, it's okay. But you have all of these activities to do with your scholars. It's going to be up to you to pace your timing. Morning meeting is in green. We have our literacy 2 hour block. We expect you to get through these different activities. We want our scholars to explore everything, but definitely you time it, you pace it out. We definitely don't want them to miss the read alouds, great discussions. They all stamp respect and honor and learning about other countries, learning about themselves, sharing more information about themselves. Then we have the math block and critical thinking. So we definitely want you to use the math. If you're on pace, if you're at the math riddles during that math block time. And then for your enrichment time, that'll be a different presentation. But this is your day one kickoff. It kind of follows the schedule. Hopefully you can get excited about it. And then day one, these are the materials that you will need. And so the activities will include opportunities for you to use sticky chart paper where you put these on the walls and scholars are writing. For our younger scholars, you may use a flip chart and that you are writing on that yourself as the educator. Or you may put the sticky chart paper on tables and let the scholars write with markers. But either way, you have markers, pens, pencils, whichever is appropriate, post-it notes. You have 2 packets of handouts here with one for artwork, one for the sneaker activity, and it just tells you the materials that you should have access to. You'll need Wi-Fi, a laptop, speakers, a projector, and a screen. All right, so now we get into the section. Welcome, scholars. So now this is a section that you'll actually use to talk to scholars, okay? This is where these are the slides that you will use for scholars. So scholars are coming in day one. It's Summer Advantage. Guess what? This is the music. We're playing. Scholars can see the slide that says welcome scholars on it. They're coming in, the music's playing, right? But what you're going to start with is the morning meeting. The morning meeting is a different PowerPoint presentation, and you can say, good morning, class, my name is such and such. You can introduce yourself, but when you're ready for morning meeting, they have their breakfast. They come in, you get started with their morning meeting experience, right? But the good thing is it says today during our literacy and math blocks, we will continue to get to know one another and to meet someone new. We will also do a variety of activities to explore 5 very unique countries, which include Brazil, Haiti, Venezuela, Morocco, and Guatemala. We will continue to learn more about these throughout the summer program. This introduction and showing them their class challenge board for day one is huge. Really set the tone for scholars that, man, we're going to do all this today. Yes, we are. It's going to be fun. I need your help. You guys are going to help set up the activities, set up the games, etc., etc., etc. Okay? All right. So this is a great introduction, and typically you would start with your morning meeting on day one, and then you come back to these icebreakers, okay? But for the sake of our training today, we'll start with our icebreaker. Okay. So with our icebreaker, okay, and that as a class builder, we start here. So this is a class builder. This means this will happen in a whole group, as it says here, and it's a would you rather. And so the great thing about this is you ask the scholars a question. It's an opportunity for you to get to know your scholars. So the engagement strategy we're using is vote with your feet. Scholars, we want them to be used to this throughout the summer. We trained during Summer Advantage. We trained you to use vote with your feet. We want you using it with the scholars. Sometimes our scholars, it's hard for them to sit and listen. We don't want them listening. We want them talking, discussing, engaging, and we want them moving, but focused moving. And so this is vote with your feet. That means they don't raise their hand to cast their vote. They don't speak or say anything. They stand up and they vote with their feet. Literally, that's what it is. It's an engagement strategy. It's a way to collect the voices/opinions of the audience. Teachers may collect data on percentages. You can calculate that and write that on the board. Out of 20 scholars, 10 of them like this and 10 of them prefer this, right? It helps to facilitate discussions by asking why scholars voted for their preferred option or rejects the other option. So at the bottom, you'll notice it says teacher ask a multiple choice question and says vote with your feet. then the scholars will stand up and walk over to the answer of their choice. As simple as that. So, starting out, our goal for Icebreaker 1, what is our goal? It's to share, it's to listen, it's to be kind, it's to notice what we have in common, to notice what makes us unique, and to meet someone new. Hashtag better together. This literally, teachers, is what you're going to say to scholars. This presentation was put together so that literally you can talk through it. So, our icebreaker, I'm going to ask you a variety of questions about what you would rather have. You stand to the left of the room, on the side of the room that represents what you would rather. Okay? So, I'm going to start with number 1. Would you rather have Takis or Cheetos? Ready, set, vote with your feet. Scholars will stand up. They will stand on literally the left side of the room if they prefer Takis, or they stand on the Cheeto side of the room to the right if they like, if they prefer crunchy Cheetos. All right, and so they can look around. We can see, and then you can even ask, "Hey, why do you like Takis? Why do why are Takis better than Cheetos for you? Why did you like Cheetos? What did you like about them?" Okay. All right. And it's just showing our preferences and differences. All right. Would you rather have Airhead Extremes, Rainbow Berry flavor, or Sour Patch Kids? And why? So you can always ask them the why question if you choose to. All right. Would you rather have $1,000 in cash or 2 Disney World tickets? 2 free Disney World tickets. All right. This is a great opportunity to really discuss, because this could be a question that goes deeper into strategy. What would you do with $1,000 versus what would you do with 2 Disney World tickets? Our next would you rather is our next would you rather have the superpower of strength or the superpower of being able to fly? Stand on the left for being strong, stand on the right for having the superpower to fly. Our next one is would you rather play Minecraft or Roblox? This is a great one to ask our scholars as well. Virtual reality is huge, and really getting to know the why. Why do they love it so much? What's fun about it? Which games are they playing? You can ask questions that go deeper. Again, this is about you collecting data, collecting information, getting to know your scholars, helping them to understand that there's other people in the room who like the same things that you like, who prefer the same things that you prefer, and those that don't, it's okay, right? We can still get along and share the same space. Last 2, would you rather have winter break or spring break? So which break season is better for them? Do they prefer spring break or do they prefer winter break, and why? These are some great questions because it generates what they do on their holidays. So maybe they love winter break because they get to see family. Maybe it's the holiday meals attached to that. Maybe they love spring break because everyone's outside. It's sunnier, maybe in the state that they live in, so they love the sunshine. Maybe some people love the snow. So it's a great opportunity to go deeper in conversations. And last but not least, we have would you rather have like a deep conversation with a current celebrity, or would you rather meet a historical figure or have a conversation with a historical figure? And so this is interesting because we have Queen Latifah to the left and we have Zora Neale Hurston. This is just an example of of celebrities or historical figures. So would you rather like be able to meet a current celebrity or a historical figure or historical celebrity? And so this is a great conversation to have because they may not know Queen Latifah. She's an actress, Hollywood, but then Zora Neale Hurston is a great author, story writer, and etc. So, and they actually favored. So, great conversations that can be built. So that's the first icebreaker. Then we have our second one. Our second icebreaker is a team builder. The goal is to have scholars work in pairs and in groups, and the theme is my story. So we want them to be able to tell their story. It's one thing for them to start out by saying their likes, their preferences, their dislikes. That's just kind of a surface level way of getting to know one another, right? But now through personal reflection, through writing and or discussing, they'll have an opportunity to do the following engagement strategy, right? And so this is going to permit them to gain a higher critical and analytical thinking skills, communication, and listening skills. The teacher will ask an open-ended question. It can be verbal and or written on a PowerPoint slide, and the scholars will reflect and write. They will discuss in pairs or quads or as a whole group. It is your choice. And so this is very important to do. And so we've given you a visual here so you can decide in the blue squares, you can decide how you want your scholars to reflect. For the older scholars, you might want them to self-reflect, and they will do a quick write and they will complete the worksheet. So you can pass out the worksheet for them here. For our younger scholars, you may want the scholars to reflect, and then the teacher, you're going to do the quick write and put everybody's ideas on the chart paper, but it's up to you, okay? Then, once we all reflect, then we want to discuss. How do we discuss? You can have them discuss in pairs, right? Find someone new and they can discuss in pairs and make sure they're taking turns. You can have them discuss in a group of 4 or 3. You can have them discuss as a whole class. The challenge is, though, fewer scholars get a chance to listen, right? And you can have them discuss in chairs. You can have them do a stand up in discussion in either pairs, group, or the whole class. Or you can have them do a stand up and write. And that way there's chart paper. The scholars all have markers. They stand up and then they write out their thoughts. So we have a couple of options for reflecting and or discussing. But we want our scholars engaged, and some of these definitely help to have higher levels of engagement. Higher levels of engagement when they write themselves. Higher levels of engagement when it's a pair discussion, because 50% of the classroom is speaking at one time. Higher levels of engagement sometimes when they're moving. Higher level of engagement when everyone is writing. No matter which strategy you choose to do our second icebreaker, you have options. Our goals, this is what you're going to share with scholars. Our goals in icebreaker 2 is to share your story and your favorite things, to listen, to be kind, to notice our similarities, notice our uniquenesses, and make a new friend. So hashtag power stories. Here we go. So my favorite, it says, be prepared to share your favorite color, hobbies, dream, trip, dessert, food, music with a partner and the class. Now notice this activity is more developmentally appropriate for kindergarten through second grade. The discussion ideas, they can discuss in pairs, groups of 4, or as a whole group. When you click, the image is going to pop up. And so pretty much it pops up, and that's the question for them. What is your favorite color? So as a teacher, you say, hey class, what is your favorite color? In pairs, I want you to share, introduce yourself to a pair partner, and I want you to share your favorite color and why that's your favorite color. Ready, set, and then go. And scholars will discuss. Then, all right, class, yes, you get their attention again, and then next question for you guys to discuss is, what is your favorite hobby? What do you like to do? Is it music? Is it reading? Is it art? Is it cooking? Is it watching television? Is it music, riding your bike? Is it sports, photography, any of these things, or something I haven't mentioned? Discuss. This time I want you to discuss in groups of 4, or they can find a new pair partner. The next is your favorite dream trip. Where would you go if you had all the money you needed? Where would you go? Right? What's your favorite dessert item? Ooh, is it cake? Is it pie? Is it ice cream? Cobblers or other pastries? And then what is your favorite foods, right? Meats, your favorite vegetables, your favorite starch. And the last one, what's your favorite music or your favorite music artist? And so this is how we would conduct the conversation for kindergarten through second grade. It chunks the conversation for them. It doesn't overwhelm them, and it gives them in pairs. It gives them time to discuss. For our 3rd through 8th graders, our older scholars, you might be able to tell them to pick 3 random numbers between 1 and 16 being the highest number. Like the scholars you see here in the video, they pick 3 numbers, pick 3 random numbers. Once everyone has their number, then they pair up with a new pair partner that they haven't met before, or somebody new. They're going to introduce themselves and they're going to share their story. How are they going to share their story? Well, that's not the way that we did from kindergarten through second grade where the images pop up, right? They're going to share their story because if I pick one, two, and three, I'm going to share, hi, my name is such and such. My birthplace or the hometown where I was born is, and then I'll say, my best memory growing up in my hometown is this, and I'll share that. And then my third one is the places that I've lived or I want to live is, and I'll be able to share that, and this is why. So this is me sharing my story. If I pick numbers one, two, and three, and I have to share that story with a certain amount of time. I have 5 minutes. And then, so I've reflected during that time. I can reflect on my three things. Then I'm going to share my story with a pair partner, like I just did. After pair partners share, and they have 5 minutes to do that, you add another 5 minutes on the clock. And guess what? Those pairs connect with two other people, and I'm going to share one thing either about myself or my partner. Really, I prefer sharing them about their partner. This person shares one thing about their partner that they think is really cool. And now Scholar 3 is going to share something about Scholar 4, and Scholar 4 is going to share something about Scholar 3 to the other two team members. Either way, this gets us learning how to listen. So I reflected on my own. I shared my own story. Now, by the time we get into groups, my classmate that I shared my story to, they're going to share something, one thing about my story that they think is cool to share. Okay? So this is a 10-minute activity. All right? And then we go there. Then icebreaker number 3. It's a team builder. You can have the scholars work in pairs or groups depending on the dynamics of the room. It's called Staying in My Shoes. And so with this activity, the goal of the exercise is to share your moods, listen, be kind, notice positive mood changes, notice our uniquenesses, hashtag good vibes. So we're gonna, this is one strategy, okay? In order to do this activity, we want to prepare the room. So for kindergarten through second grades, the teacher uses 6 pieces of chart paper to document scholar generated lists, facilitate a carpet discussion. So the teacher's going to start with number one, the following things scare me. And just as a group, the scholars can popcorn what scares them. Or you can say, hey, turn and talk. Share with your shoulder partner or a new partner that you haven't met yet. We want on day one, we want scholars to meet as many new scholars as possible. Okay? Introduce themselves. That's practicing those social skills. Hi, my name is such and such. And one thing that scares me is, and then have them learn to share that, right? And then once they have a chance on their carpet time, sharing with their shoulder to shoulder partner, then you can have them popcorn. And as a teacher, you can list the things, the scholars that might scare them or make them upset, make them concerned, right? And then the teacher's going to use a second sheet, a third, a fourth, a fifth, and a sixth. Now, with our third through eighth graders, step one is to provide one marker per scholar. Place 6 sheets of sticky chart paper on the walls around the room or at desk workstations. Step 3 says entitle them the following topics. So for third through eighth grade, scholars are going to get up and they're going to literally walk around the room and they're going to write down their responses for what scares them, what makes them happy, what makes them mad, what they're good at, what they worry about, and what makes them laugh. And so for scholars, this gets them up, this gets them moving, this gets them thinking about things that they really care about, but they value. Scholars will also have the chance to personally reflect. So this is a printout. So make sure you print out the copies of this PDF document and you print it out and you ensure that scholars get their copy, their photocopy of their shoe. It allows them to self-reflect on their 6 items, right? They can self-reflect on their 6 items. They can share with a pair partner. And again, they can discuss in a group of 4 or as a whole class. In the prompts, those same 6 prompts, they show up on the shoe. So you can use this slide as an example, when you're doing a closing of this activity to make sure scholars had a chance to share. But sometimes worksheets are great, and sometimes our scholars, they want to really, work together and they want to share out and discuss. So you can, again, structure this activity in a way that will accommodate your scholars. And again, the goal is to get to know each other, stand in each other's shoes, right? Things that you worry about, things that make you laugh, something that you're really good at, right? Things that upset you. We don't know. A lot of times our students don't know, but they're really telling us their triggers. They're really telling us the things that make them mad. You know, it really helps us to know what some of their triggers are. When they tell us what makes them happy, it's helping them to reflect on their mood, right? So if I'm mad, I need to start thinking about the things that make me happy, the things that I'm good at, and the things that make me laugh, right? These are some things that are going to help regulate my mood, and we'll need that. We'll need that. They will need these skills. So you want to document this and the things that they say to remind your scholars, uh-oh, some of us are in a bad mood right now. What are some things we can do to move ourselves from being in a bad mood to a good mood? All right, next on day one, you guys will travel to Brazil, right? And so you're going to have a movement break. It says, let's travel to Brazil and learn the national dance called the samba. So you read the trainer notes, and the trainer notes will tell you, and it says on the screen, stand up, make a team of 3, and get ready to dance. So you want to put scholars in threes. Do a time, give them a countdown: 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. So again, we want to model the model for scholars. We want them to stand up and get in groups of 3. This is so important to be able to get them up, moving, have these movement breaks, because the brain doesn't learn if the brain is starting to go to sleep, right? So movement, or the lack of movement, can cause that. That's why we're doing engagement strategies like vote with your feet, stand up, sit downs, just different discussion strategies where they're reflecting, they're writing, they're moving, they're doing stand up, hand up, hair, things like that. And so this is a movement break. So you just play the video. Somebody. All right, so scholars are up. They're in their groups of 3, and they are following the movement of the leaders on the screen. This is meant to be a movement break. If scholars are struggling to follow the movements, that's okay. Tell them to do the best job that they can, standing around the room. But the goal is keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. They have to move. This movement challenge is for about 3 minutes long, so we want them moving for the entire 3 minutes. So let them know, hey, if you're not doing, the goal is to follow the leader. The goal is to learn the samba and follow the leader. Once we leave Brazil, now we're going to go back to America. It says the read aloud number 1. Let's travel to the USA to learn what to do when we have conflicts with others. What happens when we're not getting along with people? So this read aloud, you're going to definitely just facilitate a pre-read discussion. And so for kindergarten through 5th grade, you might have these questions that you ask the scholars before you listen to the read aloud. From 6th through 8th grade, you might ask these questions. So they're similar, right? But you want to probe. First of all, do our scholars even know what an enemy is? Can they define that if I'm in kindergarten? What does it mean to have an enemy? Can enemies become friends, right? Do they believe an enemy can change and become a friend? Think of a friend you have. How did you become friends? We want them to think about their process. What is the process between making and building friendships? Hopefully some of the icebreakers today that you do, some of the activities, everyone should leave feeling as if I have someone that I've connected with in my class, my Summer Advantage class, and really a couple of people. That's the goal, right? And then what do you like to do together? We want them to think about some of the activities they like to do with friendships. What can friends from different backgrounds do to better understand each other? And we have some of these questions down here. And so these are just pre-read conversations. This hooks them into listening to this story. Now, this story is typically, I want to say, I believe it's a 3rd grade read, maybe a 3rd or 4th grade read, but that's okay. Even if you're in 6th or 8th grade, this is about the principle more so than the reading level. Now we're going to listen to the story being read aloud called Enemy Pie, and we want them to be able to stretch. What ideas do they hear in the story that can help them answer this question according to the story? Can enemies become friends? All right, what do we notice in this story? And then what activity or food would you suggest to help a relationship improve? So these are personal questions, but they can, after the reading, they can reference it. So we press play.
Enemy Pie by Derek Munson, illustrated by Tara Callahan King. It should have been a perfect summer. My dad helped me build.
Once the story has ended, scholars can continue and you can resume to facilitate a discussion and share out. Can enemies become friends? What activities or food would you suggest to help a relationship improve? And then utilize the questions to reference the story. What did they notice about the main characters? How did they become friends? What activities did they do that helped? Did enemy pie work? Why did it work? In order to close out, you say enemy pie challenge 1 through 3, and it says pretty much now we're going to have an enemy pie challenge. We're going to do 3 different activities. Thank you for sharing your activities and the desserts and foods that you believe will help to build positive relationships. Now let's enjoy 3 activities that might help build positive relationships. Are you ready? Set? Well, let's go. So the first is of the enemy pie challenge is face the cookie. So each scholar needs 2 cookies. Place the cookies on that on their desk, and wait for the timer to begin. Press the
Face the cookie. The human face is composed of many muscles, with 2 large groups that help make a smile or frown. In this challenge, the contestant must move a total of 2 cookies from their forehead to their mouth using only their facial muscles. If a cookie drops, the contestant may reset another cookie on the forehead and try again. Failure to complete this task in 60 seconds may result in elimination.
You will then play the minute to win it minute. Pass out, distribute all the cookies. Make sure they're already prepped. It's good if you pre-prep them. They're already maybe in a sandwich bag or something. And then they all have 2 cookies. But you want to cut down your distribution time so you can move pretty quickly through these activities. Again, it's just a minute to win it. So they have 60 seconds to get that cookie on their forehead, down to their mouths. Tell them to be careful not to drop it on the floor because, yeah, they're only going to get 2 cookies. So they don't want to drop that cookie on the floor and thinking you're going to give them another one. So you press the timer, the minutes for the timer.
The game begins in 3, 2, 1.
So the great thing is the timer is already on the slide and you just use it and keep going. All right, you have everybody celebrate. They're not in competition with other people. They're in competition with themselves. So, but you want them to be able to celebrate not dropping the cookie. So that's the goal, right? Even if they don't make the cookie in their mouth, trying not to get it to drop and fall on the floor. So allow them to find a way to celebrate each other so that they're not just leaning on you as the educator to celebrate them. So have them high five each other, have them give each other a celebration, and now they have a cookie, right, to eat. The next enemy pie challenge number 2 is scoop it up. Each scholar will need 1 spoon. Make the teams of 4. They will take turns utilizing 5 ping pong balls and 2 bowls. And so when you click this video, it explains the process.
This minute to win a game is called Scoop It Up. The object of this one is to take 6 ping pong balls out of this bowl and transfer it to this bowl in less than a minute. Here are the ground rules. You gotta use this spoon and no hands. It's gotta be in your mouth. And the 2 bowls need to be touching the table at all times, approximately 1 hand width apart. So let me demonstrate. You get the idea. If the ball goes out of the bowl, you can use it, you can put it back in the bowl, but you cannot obviously transfer it over there or put it onto the spoon. That's the rules.
All right, and then you click the timer, you start the timer. Once all of the supplies are in place, again, have some handy helpers. The scholars can help you utilize them as a resource. Then we celebrate. Hey, we celebrate. All right, working. It's not about, again, accomplishing the goal. We want to get the minute to win it, but the bottom line is them working together as a team, have them celebrate each other. And our third enemy pie challenge is we're going to stand up and we're going to dance together in unity. Have them form teams of four. Teams of four. You might want to have them do this minute to win it challenges in their teams of four, and so that they all can again get used to celebrating each other. And then now their goal is to pick one of the dancers here. And when you click on it, it says stand up, make a team of four, let's dance together. And so again, the song is called Power, right? That power, unlimited that power. So it's called That Power. So the bottom line is that's kind of the theme, that together we are better. And so the goal is for them to try to dance in unity together. So you click the video. And the goal is for them to follow these leaders, stand up. You literally get the scholars up, get them moving, right? For our older scholars, we want them up and moving as well. If it becomes more of a challenge, you can tell them they can sit, but they have to chair dance. They still have to follow the dance, get 4 chairs, sit them in fours, in groups of fours, and they can say, well, we don't want to stand up and do the dance, but we'll sit down and do the dance. Okay, fine. Well, negotiate with them, but definitely the goal is to get everyone up and moving. It's a big, healthy part of our day. It's movement. We want to set that tone for Summer Advantage, that with our learning, we want to make sure we keep our brains awake, up, and moving. Too much sitting puts our brains to sleep. All right, and we say hashtag teamwork because it's a group of 4 and then working in unity. So now, class, we go from America to Haiti. And so now it says, let's travel to Haiti to learn how food can represent the heart and culture of the people. And so we have our next read aloud number 2. Our pre-read discussions are as follows. Why do you think food can be an important symbol of freedom? What special foods does your family prepare for celebrations? How do family recipes tell stories about our history and culture? And why is it important to learn about different cultural traditions? So this is all about how food tells a story, how it can communicate someone's culture. So really respecting people's food, respecting what they're bringing to lunch, respecting the smells, the fragrances, what they look like. We want to always provide that respect. So this is a great way to honor the country of Haiti and to introduce them to something that is a major part of the culture. Have that pre-read discussion and then to really talk about it, and then they can make it personal here. How do family recipes tell stories about our history? Why is it important to learn about different cultural traditions? And what special food does your family prepare for celebration? So after reading this, hopefully they'll be able to get more personal and get to know each other. So facilitate the discussion.
Welcome to the Teacher's Library. I'm Miss S. Today, we are going to read a very special book, Freedom Soup, written by Tammy Charles and illustrated by Jacqueline Alcantara. Today is New Year's Day. This year, I get to help make Freedom Soup. Tigran says I've got a heart made for cooking, and it's time I learn how. Outside, snow is piling, cottony thick. Inside, warm, sweet air flows. Haitian compa pours through the speakers. The shake of maracas vibrates down to my toes. Tigran lowers the flame while I'm
going to pause the story right here, but at the end of this story, the great thing is they show you the real soup.
Soup is called Soup Jumu, and on January 1st, us Haitians drink it to celebrate our independence. If you'd like a copy of this book, please check the description box to find out how to get one. If you'd like to try to make your own freedom soup, there's a recipe in the back. or you can call your local Haitian restaurant. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the Teacher's Library. Till
All right. And so the great thing about this Read It Aloud is it talks about food. It's a great conversation with the scholars about food as well, what foods they like. And then we have a Freedom Soup Challenge. It's called Suck It Up. Each scholar needs 1 straw and 2 cake plates or 2 sheets of paper or 2 napkins.
Suck it up. The common drinking straw is engineered to move liquid to your mouth. In this challenge, contestants start with a straw in their mouth, and by sucking, they will transport 4 candies from a receptacle and deposit them atop positioned straws.
Okay, now this version of it is pretty complex. That's not what we're trying to do. You guys can just have 2 cake plates. Their goal is to transfer the candy item or whatever they're going to be given, suck that up to the straw and put it on the next plate. So that's the goal. That's the goal. You can set it up. You can differentiate it to accommodate your learners. And then you start the timer when you're ready. All right. So now we are leaving Haiti and we're going into our math block. Our math block, the goal is to just have some fun with math. We want our scholars to be thinkers. So to get prepared for this, we want to prepare the room, each scholar. So we got to clean up from our minute to win it games. Make sure we reset our classroom. Give everybody 20 seconds to clean up and bring their supplies into a specific area. Always have the scholars clean up and respect their community environment. Each scholar needs a pencil and paper to show their work, and table partners, so let them know they can work together as a team. We celebrate thinking. Correct answers are okay, but we celebrate critical thinkers, so think big. So the goal is to get our scholars thinking, and it's not all about the right answers, but it is about them becoming thinkers. We want to create a safe space throughout the summer where they can push themselves, challenge themselves, have fun with math, have fun with thinking. So here we have the math riddle. The music's already embedded here. You read it. How many 9s are there between 1 and 100? K2 and 3rd grade through 8th grade can try these easier riddles for them to give them a level of success. So start here. You can even pause the video if you want to. Pause the timer. Even when the music ends, you can still have scholars continue to work if they need more time. Notice that we have the gift timer here. It gives them 2 minutes. So let them know they have more time, even though the music has stopped, okay? You can ask probing questions. See if they can figure the riddle out. How many 9s are there between 1 and 100? And see if they can get it. We want them to meet success for this one. So really allow them to think it through. Allow them to have some discussion. See if they can figure it out. Don't allow them to call out the answer correctly. Have them keep a secret. You walk around and see who has it. And if they're like, oh, we got it, and then come over and look at their answer. Sign your signature. Draw a happy face. Draw a hashtag. You got it or something. But really encourage them to do the thinking. This is not about racing to see who can get the answer first. So take your time. Walk around the room. Encourage them. Number 2. What is half of 2 plus 2? See if they can get this one. Number 3. An apple is 40 cents, a banana is 60 cents, and a grape is 50 cents. How much is there? Number 4. What did one math book say to another? So again, all of these are riddles that are more K2 appropriate, but 3rd through 8th grade start with these because it'll give them a sense of success before we get to more difficult ones. Then we have a brain break. And so that brain break is where everyone stands up. They have to stand in between 3 lines. Once the video starts, it gives them the rules. This is exploding juice. So they stand behind one of the bottles of juice and they hope that juice does not explode. So their goal is to predict which juice they think will not explode. The goal is not to explode. So you press the video and it tells you.
It's the Exploding Fruit Game, Liquid Edition. Now stand up and get ready to play. Choose your favorite. For orange soda, move to the left side of the room. For fruit punch, move to the middle. For apple juice, move to the right side of the room. But choose wisely, because if your fruit juice explodes, you're out of the game!
Okay, as you can see, all they have to do is listen and follow the rules of the video. And this is just a quick brain break that takes our scholars through a process of having some fun. Again, it's a movement break. So they just sat down and did 4 math riddles. This allows them to stand up again and just have some mindless fun. And then we have our math riddle. This are the age-appropriate riddles for 3rd through 8th grade. But again, start with the easier ones so that they feel comfortable and they have a sense of success. These can become more difficult, believe me. You also have the answer key as a teacher as well in the PDF in the file folder that was given to you. Number 2, again, the riddles get more complex. Number 3, as well, math riddle number 4. Next up, we will travel to Venezuela. We're going to travel to Venezuela to experience a fun game that is popular among children. Uno, dos, tres, pollito inglés, which stands for 1, 2, 3, English chicken. So, this challenge, we'll watch in the video and we'll see how they hold hands together and it's a team effort. The goal is the caller says uno, dos, tres, pollito inglés. And when they turn around, everyone has to freeze. So if you catch the caller, if they catch anyone moving, the entire group goes back and starts over. So the goal is for the line to get up and to be able to touch the caller. Once you touch the caller, everybody's safe.
Un, dos, tres, pollito inglés. 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 Un, dos, tres, pollito inglés.
All right, so as you can see, it's un, dos, tres, pollito inglés. And so they're modeling it here. It's a group effort, and it can be a very fun game. It's something that's played in Venezuela. You can take your scholars outside in the hallway, outside of the school, and you guys can do a couple of rounds of it. Scholars get to practice saying un, dos, tres, pollito inglés. And it's fun. And so their goal is to get to the start, but it's a team effort as well. So that's can be a very fun game to practice. And then this is the Let's Play. And so these are our instructions. You can put the timer on so you don't spend 30 minutes outside playing this. So it says, let's play, let's be kind. So pick one scholar to be the announcer. They must practice quickly saying the phrase un, dos, tres, pollito inglés. Step 2, have scholars stand up and hold hands in groups of 4 to 8, depending on the room size. Use the hallway or outside spaces if needed. And then step 3, play several rounds with different announcers. So the goal is giving our scholars a chance to utilize the language of Venezuela. Then, now we're going to go to Guatemala. We're not doing a read aloud, so I'll adjust that. But it says, let's travel to Guatemala to learn how to play another game that is popular among children and adults alike. This is El Escondite. El Escondite, which stands for hide and seek. We're going to play a variation, and this is the video. We're going to listen to the team up version and the everyone's on version. We have the everyone's on version, meaning everyone is trying to find one person that's hiding. I know. Everyone's on means everyone is seeking the one person that's hiding. And the one person, once they find the one person that's hiding, if you find them, then you have to hide with them. And so slowly but surely, people start disappearing. like you see Homer Simpson here. But let's listen to how this person explains it. We don't see the explanation, but they verbally explain it.
Team up, it's called this one. Start with one person seeking, everyone else goes to hide. Then that person, they go to try and find people. If you find someone, they join the team. So there'll be 2 seekers. Then there'll be 3 when they find the third person. And the team keeps on growing. The champion is the last person to be found. Next game is Everyone is On. This is perfect if you have some kind of expert, someone that strongly believes they are the world's greatest hider. This game will really put them through their paces. What you do, everyone apart from one person is on counting. That one person goes off to hide. And then all the seekers go off, they try and find the person. Can they find them? And it's just a true test of extreme expertise.
Wonderful. So this is a variation of hide and seek played in Guatemala. And yeah, scholars are going to have a great time playing this one. So you can take them outside as well. Now we're going to do a game from Morocco. Actually, we're going to do an art form from Morocco. So I'll adjust this as well. So let's travel to Morocco and learn about a creative art style. The art style is called Mindi or henna. It's hand art. And this challenge, scholars will learn the art form that's popular during celebrations, weddings, and festivals. And so you can play this video here. It's about 4 minutes. And let's see. As you can see, scholars get to see the design actually being drawn out on a piece of paper that has a hand drawing. So our scholars can do that. You can have them draw their hands on a piece of paper, and they can literally design their own art. This might be more appropriate for our older scholars. You see the examples up here. But for our younger scholars on the next screen, it shows them. So our scholars can draw their personal hand with a marker or a Sharpie, and then they can split the hand into different spaces, and then they can draw different designs, right? And so the designs include circles, spirals, squares, geometrics, lines, dots, all different prints and patterns. And so this is really helping our scholars to understand art forms. So henna mandala hand art includes flowers and leaves, paisley shapes, dots and dashes, geometric patterns like triangles, diamonds, and more. So ready, set, go. You pass out the sheet of paper. This is one of the handouts that's in your materials. Hopefully the photocopy should already be ready, and you pass them out and you give scholars some time to relax and enjoy the art form. And so yes, so with that being said, there's tons of activities for day 1, and super excited that you took our scholars through that. Now we look at our class challenge board. Look, man, look at everything we did on day 1. And this concludes that math block. And then they're going to have even more around the world fun. Haiti is week 1's focus during the first 10 minutes of their enrichment time. And so great job taking them through this process. You congratulate them on day 1. I'm excited about them.